Hi there. Is anyone with me tonight? It's Linda Stacy, Living Blueprints, on my main public Facebook page, and this is the anniversary edition. Wish me happy anniversary. It's my 10th anniversary, and my husband is on his way in a couple of hours to get on a plane on his way back from Asia. So instead, I am here with you all tonight, and I'm going to have a drink to toast the 10 years. And I've been getting on regularly onto Facebook Live to talk about my book, Optimized You, and go through the chapters one by one and do support sessions in between. And you know, this is all about just making shifts. If you want to make some shifts for a different experience of life, and you know, maybe a little nudge into action into different ways. And this is really about building a life that you don't need to escape from. And tonight, this chapter is about chores, and I'm a little bit embarrassed about this one. You know, pesky chores. It's like, who wants to talk about chores and what does this all mean? But really, this is all the stuff that, like, if you don't address it, it becomes a problem. Again, I'm pretty self-conscious about this particular chapter, but I, as a child, was called Lazy Linda. And I was very, very bad at keeping up after myself. And they say that you teach best what you most need to learn, and that's probably what Living Blueprints was born out of, you know, my inability to kind of do certain things. And I know some people say at the end of a session that I get some feedback about a lot of this content being common sense, and I get that, and a lot of people kind of have it in their DNA, but you know what? There's a lot of people that don't, and no one can assume what common sense is. I really have a hard time with that particular phrase. I'm probably going to do some rant on it at some point, because depending on, you know, your experience and what you grew up with, your idea of common sense is completely different. You know, whether or not you were raised around someone with a can-do attitude or a why is it worth it attitude can totally affect the way that you approach life. So anyway, I was Lazy Linda as a kid. In fact, I was a little story here. I was at the pool like every day of my youth, the park pool, which is about a block and a half from our house. And one year I got this awesome bathing suit. I loved it so much. And my sister said, you know, that bathing suit's going to be on the floor within like 3 days or something like that. And I made a bet with her that wasn't going to happen. And sure enough, like within a very short period of time, the bathing suit was on the floor, and she parked a chair on top of it with a sign saying, you know, I win the bet. Who knows what we actually bet. But anyway, so I'm talking about chores tonight, and this isn't just the household stuff, but you know, this can be anything. You know, we have a lot of stuff these days. Kids, you know, 50 years ago had less stuff than we've got today. And so if we spend too much of our time kind of managing the stuff, we're not really living our lives. It piles up, and in some cases we can be kind of debilitated by all of this stuff. So at home, you know, we have laundry, we have chores, we have the household, the yard, the food type of things. And at work, we have like administrivia, things that we really don't care to do, whether it's expense reports, timesheets, filing, the stuff that'll pile up. And if we don't address it, it becomes a mountain. So let's not have the molehills turn into to mountains. So my main point or lesson behind all this one is that it's not about perfection, it's about persistence, because chores never go away, right? So we can just keep things moving in forward motion. How often you do something is totally up to you. You probably need to pay your bills once a month if you don't want creditors after you. You probably need to wash your clothes on occasion if you want clean socks for work, but that totally depends on the number of socks that you own. So you get to decide. And in 005, so all these videos are uploaded to YouTube. In 005, I talk about the preview, and the preview is a perfect time to go in and decide when you're going to spend that time on whatever the silly little chore is. Again, these silly little things that become issues if we don't address them. They're the things that get backburnered because they're not important, and then they become a problem over time. So if you have a mountain, if there's something that really has been backburnered for a really long time, I just suggest that you take, you know, 5 or 10 minutes every day kind of going through that. I mean, right now, if you could see my desk, it's piled with all these things. I need to take my own medicine and spend 5 to 10 minutes a day. This would probably be done in like 20 minutes if I just addressed it all at once. But again, breaking these things down. So if there's anything that's piled up, and this isn't necessarily physical things, this could be other things that have just kind of piled up in your life. This is the way people work through debt. they just slowly kind of chip away at it. You know, you can't just take care of it all at one time, and it would be very difficult to do that in most cases with most things that have become big, huge piles. So anyway, that's about all I wanted to say about chores tonight. It's kind of like a foundational thing that if we don't stay on top of, become an issue. Anyway, I hope that people are knowing that all of these videos are also on YouTube. So 005 was the first chapter about taking the seat of control. 008 was about getting into action, even when action can be a little wobbly at first. And 012 was about our biorhythms and, you know, treating our bodies best, or trying to work within the world schedule, even though it isn't always going with what our bodies would prefer to do. And I will see you all in the coming days and weeks as we go through the rest of this, and I jump in for daily little chats and such. I hope you all have a great week and weekend, and cheers again. Cheers to 10 more years, Tom, Stacy, wherever you are, and adios.